Here's how I scaled my Amazon business $270,000 a month. If you're already selling on Amazon doing anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a month, you already know that Amazon works. But you've probably noticed this already. The more units you sell, the more the margins get tighter. One price drop wipes out all progress and you literally have to start all over again, suppliers disappear, loads of other things. So let me be clear, when I say I scaled my business to that figure, I'm talking multiple marketplaces, multiple SKUs, healthy margins, and a model that didn't fall apart the moment the competition increased. My name is Adam and I run two successful e-commerce businesses doing over $3.3 million a year collectively using the Amazon and TikTok Shop platform. And I've been doing this for 5.5 years now. And here is the proof. Let me just refresh. I'm not showing that to flex, but to show you I actually know what I talk about. This isn't hype and it's not private labels gonna fix everything. And they see most sellers don't fail because they can't find products. They fail because they can't scale their margin. Amazon only starts to become successful when you start changing the ball game. And that starts with step one. And that's choosing markets that you can control, not just enter. I stopped looking for profitable products over 3 years ago now, and I started just looking for markets which I could compete and dominate in. I was looking for things like weak listings, places where I can improve, bad reviews on competitor listings, and then creating my own products from there. My criteria was pretty simple. I was looking for products which had less than 1,000 reviews. I was looking for them reviews to not be so great. And I was looking for things that I could improve upon, whether it just be actual product features or whether it be things like the branding. Overall, I was looking for ways that I could improve the product and not just compete on price, because that's the main thing that's happening to you right now, most likely, if you're doing arbitrage or wholesale. You're just competing on price, and that's your only differentiation to the competition, and that's the only way that you get sales. It's not sustainable at all. Now, step number two, I just touched on it then, is differentiation. Differentiation functionally and cosmetically. If you can do both, that's amazing. Just one or two improvements that meets the customer needs is all you need to set yourself aside from the competition and all you need to bring sales to yourself. And that's it. You can even go as far as having fancy packaging just to differentiate yourself from the competition. There's numerous people which have done it. Take Grind Coffee, for example. Their coffee beans are in a pink bag. No other coffee company's ever done that before, and they stand out like a sore thumb. Also take Space Goods for an example. They are a sort of nootropic based business, and they've gone for like a purple packaging, again, which stands out. Making these improvements both functionally and visibly is going to set you aside from the competition. It's going to get you clicks and overall get you more conversions and more sales to your product. Step number three, you're going to launch for data and not just dopamine. You know, a lot of you are just refreshing your page and you're seeing the sales spike. However, there's not really too much data involved in what you're doing right now. A real launch means monitoring things like conversion rates, monitoring the reviews that come in. I bet you don't even look at the reviews right now because they're not your products. Why do you care? Controlling the sessions, watching your ACOS on your ad spend. Monitoring all these things are super important for your launch, so you get all this data and see how you can improve. But you want to know the underlying factor to which you're going to be able to get the best possible results upon your launch. And it's very simple. What do we do as humans? We look with our eyes and we see things visually, okay? We don't like to read text so much. So you having a high quality hero image on your page on Amazon, TikTok, wherever you launch, is going to get you significantly more clicks and significantly more conversions than all of the other competition. Yes, it's good having a good product and also having great packaging will set you aside, but also what you do with that and how you express that in not just your main image, but the 6 to 7 other main following images following that. That is what's going to set you aside from the competition, and that is what's going to give you good data when you launch. It's going to give you things like good conversion rates, good click-through rates, really good results on your ad spend, really high ROAS, a really good ACOS. You're not just chasing rank, you're validating economics here. Step 4 is protecting what you build. Now it's great, so when you start getting sales, people aren't going to be jumping on your listings, which is fantastic. It's absolutely amazing, right? Because I bet you've never had that before. You're still on Amazon, but people just can't jump on the listings. You get to defend them. If somebody comes on your listings, you get to remove them. And you get to be in control. You get to control what content's on that listing. If any bad reviews come in, you get to respond to them by changing the products, changing the listings somehow. And you also get the flexibility to then, now I'm not saying you can't do this now actually, but you have more flexibility on expanding elsewhere and listing on other platforms like Shopify, like TikTok Shop, like eBay, like Temu, all these other platforms collectively. So you start learning more about your customer, specifically with your own website. You start learning more about your own customers and you start owning their information. All of a sudden your business starts to become significantly more and you are no longer disposable. Step 5 is reinvestment without scale, not desperation. This is where the real money per month actually comes. So with all the profits that you're going to be making, you're not just going to be keeping that and taking that, even though there is going to be more. You're going to be expanding on what already works. Can you create a variation of a product which is already working, like a 2 kilogram version, a 100 gram version, whatever it may be? Can you launch new products in that same niche? Perhaps you've launched an ashwagandha supplement. Can you launch a Tonga Ali supplement or a mixture of them both? Improve supply chain. Can you negotiate better pricing to in turn make more money? Even go as far as, this is really far down the line, as owning the manufacturing plant. Can you start to manufacture your own products from your house? Can you buy machinery to manufacture your own products? This is when things get really juicy. And when things start to go well and you're starting to make really good money per month, you're going to have the margin to in turn spend more on ads, which again, scaling that reinvestment of cash is going to further skyrocket your growth. So when you control the margin and you have complete control over the pricing and you've sourced a great product at a great price, ads stop being so scary, because at the moment, I mean, right now you're probably not running many ads, or if you are, very, very minimal ads, and they can be expensive. More specifically, if you have a very low margin on your product, if you're like making 50p per unit and you're spending money on ads, it's probably going to be wiped out, right? However, in this instance, ads start to become less scary. If you're making £5 on your product and it costs you £2 to make, you know, you've got plenty of room there to start making some money with ads. Also, reinvestment starts to become more predictable when you start scaling your margin. It starts to become better. Hiring makes sense and competition hurts much less because it's harder to enter the market. Sales don't scale businesses, margins do. Now, I didn't just shut down wholesale and give up on that completely, just to gamble it all on private label. No, that would have been stupid because that was actually making me pretty good money, and I still have some decent wholesale products right now to this day. But the transition looked a little bit like this. Wholesale was making great money. I invested into some mentorship for some private label, started implementing all that stuff, but from all the money I was making from wholesale, I gradually just took a little bit, a small percentage of that, about 10 to 20%, and I just started funding my private label growth, my private label journey into a separate pot. I started one SKU at a time, and even with all the training I've had multiple failures and learned from many, many mistakes. But I started one SKU at a time, and one began to work. Then the next began to work. And now fast forward to today, I've got 7 brands, and 2 of them brands are doing extremely well. The other 5 are doing well as well, but 2 of them are doing absolutely phenomenal. And one of them, I have over 150 SKUs within that one brand alone. This isn't just something that's only worked for me either. The principles are the exact same to what I've used to help other sellers from plateauing. Take Matthew. He didn't start with some crazy advantage. He went from going in a dead-end job to earning £10,000 in revenue in a single month in just 7 months. Not by chasing more products, but by learning how to reinvest properly and scale and focus on his margin. That consistency is the first muscle you have to build before you start scaling and before that's even possible. And then there's Hassan. His problem wasn't effort, it was volatility. Some months were good, some months were bad. All because wholesale price wars were killing him. By shifting towards strategies that gave him more control, he added around $2,500 in profit a month to his business. That is what leverage looks like. Now, both of these cases prove the exact same thing. When you start to move away from selling just pure volume, scaling starts to become less chaotic and easier. And private label is that next step when you start to combine consistency and control. If you want to learn the exact systems and frameworks that I used and some of my clients have used to make the transition without burning months and thousands of dollars in capital, then check the link in the description. It's the exact same process that I teach all Amazon wholesale and arbitrage operators and also TikTok shop affiliates as well. How they can build something that they actually own and that they can sell, because at the moment your business isn't sellable. So here's the real takeaway. If you're stuck between $10,000 and $50,000 per month selling on Amazon, it's probably not work ethic, right? And it's definitely not your intelligence. Hats off to you if you're there. It's your model that's the problem. Amazon wholesale and Amazon arbitrage can make money and it can make short-term cash. But what they really do is they cap your leverage. Private label is how you stop renting margin and start owning it. You're still using Amazon, but you get to also use other platforms, the relationships change, the money changes, everything becomes a hell of a lot better. If you're ready to learn how to transition properly without burning months or tons of capital, you know what to do. Click the link down below.